Hello and welcome once again. So today I'll be showing us how to make this beautiful two-in-one dress. It's a combination of net and crepe material. So if this looks like something you might want to try on your daughter, why not stop, watch, learn, practice, and you're good to go. Yeah, let's go there. Okay, so welcome once again. I went ahead to cut out the basic bodice for my dress, measured my length, measured the neck, the shoulder, the armhole. Please, if you do not know how to take a measurement, or if you don't know how to draft basic blog for a dress, I have a video on that, so you can just go and watch, learn, practice, and you can do this. So I went ahead to cut out all my marked out measurements. This is me cutting out the armhole. Yes. So at the hem, okay, I divided it into two because I folded into four to cut out both front and back bodies. So I brought out one of the piece. I'm going to cut out my neckline. So I came down by 3 by 3, I think 3 by 2.5, sorry. Then for the back, I did the same, but I used 1.5 inches for the depth of my neck. So please, if this is your first time or you've watched our videos before and you haven't subscribed, please do so. Help us grow. Subscribe to our channel, like, comment and share. Hit the notification bell for more updates. So this is me trying to cut out the sleeve of the dress. So I used 6 inches for the length of the sleeve. I folded it into 4 so I can cut out both sleeves. I'm cutting out both sleeves at once. So I used 6 for the length of my sleeve. This I forget. For this style, I used 2 yards of the patterned net and a yard of the plain material for a child of 3 years. Yes, 2 yards of net and a yard of the plain material. So after cutting out my sleeves, I went ahead to cut out my facing, what I'll be using to turn my neck for a neat finishing. So I went ahead to cut out the facing for both necklines. I'm sure by now you should know how to cut out facings. It gives it a neat look, a neat finishing. For those that have subscribed, we appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you for helping us get to this level. And if you are yet to subscribe, please do so. Thank you. So this is me trying to cut out the second part of the dress, the net part of the dress. So I measured the length of my net. Remember, the net should be longer with 2 inches longer than the other plain material, the main gown. So I marked out the length I'll be using for the net. I used 28 and it's going to be an off shoulder cut. So this is me marking out my armhole. After cutting out the neckline, I multiplied my neckline by 2 so it will be very wide, not so wide so I can gather the neck around the neck side. So I did not divide my neckline, my shoulder measurement into 2. I multiplied it instead. The neckline, the shoulder measurement I used here was 9. So instead of dividing by 2, I used the 9. So when you open up, you'll be having 18. So 18, when you open up, you gather. So I'm done with cutting the net bodice. So it's time for the ruffle part, the net ruffle part, the lower side of the dress. So I went ahead to cut out 2 different net length. So the layers will be in 2 sets. So I'll be doing tiny pleats on the lower part of my net bodice. So welcome to my sewing table. So I went ahead to turn my neckline with my facing. So this is me trying to turn my neckline. Remember the facing I talked about? This is where it comes to play. I cut out my threads. The back side, turning the neckline of the back side with my facing. So after turning, I'll use a hemming gum so it doesn't come out. Use a hemming gum to iron it down. Just give it a neat finishing. So you see how neatly turned it is. So I went ahead to join my shoulders. So after that, I went on to join both sides. I left 1.5 inches as my sewing allowance. So after that, I went on to turn my sleeves. You can still use hemming gum to turn these sleeves to give it a neat finishing. But in a place where you do not have hemming gum, you can go ahead and sew, just like I'm doing here. So I went ahead to bend the sleeves. Please, if you haven't subscribed to our channel, do so by subscribing. Thank you. So the round sleeve measurement I used here was 9. So I went ahead to divide by 2. That's 4.5. Then the armhole measurement is 13. So I went ahead to mark out, sew on it, so I can just easily turn it, attach it to my main bodice, my dress. So I went on to trim out the excess from my armhole. To both sides are equal, I went on to attach the sleeve to the main bodice. I hope you're following. Please, if you have any question, do not forget to drop in the comment section. So this is me trying to join my sleeve to my armhole. You see how easy it looks? Very easy. You can pull this off. I saw the net in the market and I could not get my eyes off it. I had to buy and make out something for my baby. I hope we are following while watching, learning, and practicing. So for the net side, I went ahead to measure out where I'll be sewing my net, the length. So I used 9. I'm going to be gathering my net on that line. I'll be making tiny pleats on that line. And the second one under it, 1 inch under it. So I'll be making my first pleat there where I just marked out. I cut 5 inches length. So I went on to trim out the extra. I did the same for the back bodice. Then it was now time to attach the second layer of the net. So I came down by 1 inch and made sure it's equal to the actual length of the dress, of the net dress. So this is, so for the neckline of the net, I gathered it. Remember I said I cut out the shoulder very big so I can gather. After gathering, I cut out a long stripe of the plain material, 8 inches long and 1.5 inches width. So after cutting, I used it to turn the shoulder, the neckline of the net. So I made sure I gathered it. After gathering it, I tried to make the gathering even by spreading it out so it doesn't cluster in a particular place. So you can see me trying to spread the gathers. So I'm going to use the plain material to turn it just like I did for the front side. So I'm going to turn it. You can see, it's not magic. It is very easy. So I turned it. I did the same thing for the front and I'm doing the same thing for the back. Then for the sleeve, I did the same thing too. The armhole, sorry, I cut out a long plain material, 1.5 inches in width, and a long stripe. I did not really know the exact measurement, but as soon as I got to the end point, I cut out the remaining one. But it has to be long, but not so long. You can measure around your armhole.